That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys. Y'all know pretty much every single video I make at this point is from the video suggestions tab on Discord, where people go through that are a part of the Patreon supporting the channel and tell me what they want to hear. On top of that, I just have a decent gauge on what the audience is wanting by DMing with people on Patreon every single day. And I repeatedly got questions saying, hey, while I take over an orphan, if I take over a team that really does not have a lot of assets, what can I go out there to do to improve? What can I do to go and make sure that this team, while it may not necessarily be set up right now, it can be set up for 2022 and it can make a run at the title in that short notice. So yeah, this video, we are going to be talking about rebuilding strategy, how to take a team that is limited on assets and then go out there and create a juggernaut down the line. There are so many ways we can go about this. And I'm also going to be giving y'all targets at the end of the video. But first, let's kind of focus in on the strategy, because the strategy behind it is way more important than the players that I have in mind for you to be going out there and target. But before we get into the video, if you have not already, make sure you go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We just passed 3,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. Hopefully this channel catches up to our main channel, which is at like 22,000 subscribers. Honestly, I don't think it's that realistic, just because not nearly enough people play Dynasty Fantasy Football. But if we could do it throughout the course of this offseason, that would be absurd. All right, well, let's get into it and let's go through my #1 pet peeve of what someone is trying to do when they take over a roster that does not have the assets to be competitive right away. And that is trying to make it work regardless. And this is something that I truly do not think we should be doing. If you kind of take over a team, or maybe you just made a couple bad trades here or there, or you made a couple bad draft picks, and you find yourself in a situation where you kind of look at the power rankings of the league and you're like, you know what? I probably have the 7th, 8th best roster here if we are just looking at pure value. Might as well do everything I can to kind of mortgage my future and try to push in to win right now. Even though I may not necessarily have the most valuable roster, I could try to find discount players that are going to give me the production in the short term, and then maybe I can sneak into the playoffs, and then maybe once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. Well, this strategy, I hate. I hate this so much. I've been saying this since about 2016, that the worst place that you can be in Dynasty Fantasy Football is the team that's earning the rookie pick 105, 106, 107. I absolutely hate to be in that range, because you have a team that is just competitive enough to make sure that you're not going to have access at the top level rookie prospects like a Trevor Lawrence, but you have a team that is also not competitive enough to actually go out there and take home the title and win the league money, because that's kind of what it's all about. It's all about taking home the league pot and also having the bragging rights of getting that championship, where if you're in the middle, you get neither. So if I am in the middle, you have to go one way or the other. And if you do not have the value on your roster, I am always a fan of going, we're blowing it up. We are going to tank in 2021. We are going to make sure that we earn the rookie pick 101 for the 2022 season. And this is the #1 thing you can do to guarantee yourself of adding a free asset, pretty much a free elite asset next season. And just think, if you take your current Dynasty League right now, you add Trevor Lawrence on top of it, it's a completely different team. I mean, you could go from being a middle of the road team to then automatically being a contender, because when you add on that elite asset, even if you don't want to draft from the 101, you can then trade it and package down and pick up assets to fill out your roster. So earning the rookie pick 101 is such a massive advantage over the field. I know that's why a lot of Dynasty leagues now actually go through and do it kind of like the NBA draft, where they have a draft lottery and the worst team is not automatically guaranteed the first overall pick. But that's not all leagues. If your league is the worst team gets the first overall pick and you're in a situation where your team is not talented, you don't have a lot of value, you do not think that you're in a top 5 position in your league where you currently stand, why are you going to stay there? Blow it up, earn the 101, and the easiest way that you can do this is go out there and try to trade away your running backs. I look at Dynasty Fantasy Football through a lens of running backs are fantastic. Running backs are what wins you your Dynasty leagues. But the value season to season is highly volatile, where it's kind of hard to predict if Dalvin Cook is still going to be a round 1 startup pick next year, or is he going to take the Todd Gurley fall? Is he going to take the David Johnson, the Le'Veon Bell? These running backs that we see season after season, where as soon as they have a down year, regardless of if that's injuries, regardless of if that's their offensive line not necessarily living up to expectation, if that running back is not young, if it's not a Cam Akers, a DeAndre Swift, a Jonathan Taylor, a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that running back is going to be drastically falling down in price. So as soon as you decide to commit to going, you know what, we are going to rebuild this. We are going to try to stack up value for next year, not this year. I am going to be wanting to trade away those veteran running backs. The worst thing that you can do to your roster is have an Alvin Kamara, have a Dalvin Cook. Because while you're risking that value not being there the next year where you're going to be competitive, at the same time, those guys are elite producers. So they are going to be going out there and getting you a ton of points and not necessarily allowing you to get the rookie pick 101 in the following year's draft. Now, if I'm going to try to give y'all some advice on how to look for trades like this, I think we can go through and we can look at 2 veteran running backs that are still at the very top of Dynasty drafts that still hold a ton of value. And this is going to be Nick Chubb and Dalvin Cook. So the easiest example that I can give you is right now, if you are a rebuilding team, Nick Chubb is your best asset, and you go, you know what? Without Nick Chubb, I am a bottom 3 team in the league. And if that's the case you're sitting with, really, I do not think you are ready to be competitive, because if you are a dominant team that looks like it's going to be at the very top of the league in 2021, then Nick Chubb getting injured or not isn't going to bring you from being the best team in the league to a bottom 3 roster. So that's an easy way to kind of evaluate where you're sitting. But just say you evaluate your roster, you see that you do not have the talent to compete right away. You take Nick Chubb, your best player available. You trade him, just say for this year's rookie pick 106, a 2022 first-round rookie pick, and a second-round rookie pick next season. I think that trade can get done in a significant amount of Dynasty leagues, depending on the competition you're playing with. And if we look at a rebuilding roster, the rookie pick 106 is going to give you a very strong asset. If we just go through and try to map out how drafts are going to go this year, we know that we are going to have both Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence definitely going before that rookie pick 106. We're most likely going to have Najee Harris going before that as well. So you're going to have an option at one of 3 players: Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, or Travis Etienne. And you could make the argument that any one of those 3 players for a rebuilding roster would be more valuable than Nick Chubb if we are looking at long-term projections. Because right now, Nick Chubb is most likely going to be a holdout candidate this upcoming season. He's 25 years old. I mean, he's like half a year younger than Todd Gurley. And if you're going to be picking up some flexibility with a future first-round pick and a future second-round pick on top of that, you are just straight up printing, and you are getting the Nick Chubb production off your roster for this upcoming season, where you're most likely going to have a better pick in 2022 at the same time. So if you're trying to construct trades like that, I think it's going to be a very profitable decision for those rebuilding rosters. And the next thing that I need to kind of bring up is the fact that if you are going to be one of these rebuilding teams, you have to be an active trader. And when you are trading, you have to be loading up on those 2022 rookie picks. This is the best time to do it. And that as soon as we get done with the 2021 rookie drafts, those 2022 picks are going to be going up in value. I can guarantee you, in every single league that you're in, right now, those 2022 rookie picks are devalued compared to where they'll be 6 months from now. So if you can be an active trader, if you can go through, move a Travis Kelce, move a Nick Chubb, move an Alvin Kamara, move a Dalvin Cook, these elite level veterans for some future value and giving you the flexibility in your roster, that's going to be a quick way on how you can kind of overcome a roster that's not necessarily loaded up with talent. stay a little bit flexible, and then go, you know what, 2022, we are going to have so many assets to move around in trades. Maybe in 2022, I can take a top 3 rookie pick, trade it for a player like A.J. Brown, and repeatedly do that with the value that you have throughout your roster. And that's how you kind of flip these things over extremely fast if you are willing to punt that year. And I know we've probably been a little bit sporadic in this video. I know this probably has not been the best. Let me just get to some targets that we need to be going out there and trying to acquire. And y'all know last year, what we were trying to do is we were trying to load up on A.J. Dillon and Jalen Hurts, as both of these players were in situations where they did not necessarily look like they were going to have immediate opportunity. But if you looked at the team investment from their NFL franchises, we understood that, hey, this team has A.J. Dillon, this team has Jalen Hurts in their plans for the future. So if we just kind of wait a little bit and go with the NFL draft capital, go with the player profiles, you can make that profit if you are willing to just wait a year. And 2 guys that I would like to put in this range right now. First one is going to be KJ Hamler. Now, I understand with Hamler, this is a player in a very bad situation. But if we are not looking at scoring points this upcoming season, and we are playing for 2022, KJ Hamler is definitely going to be a nice target at his current value, because Courtland Sutton is going to be on the last year of his rookie deal this season. So once Sutton leaves this situation, we are going to have KJ Hamler vaulting up next to Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant to have an every down role on the Denver Broncos offense. We know Hamler is still extremely young. He was 20 years old this past season, so he has a ton of room to grow. He's an elite level athlete. And if we're talking about 2022, hopefully the Denver Broncos have their quarterback situation figured out by then, where KJ Hamler can be playing in an offense that's going to produce a ton of fantasy points for everybody involved. And now our next player I'm going to bring up is going to be coming at a pretty big discount compared to where he was going in rookie drafts last offseason. And I know y'all are going to get very upset that I'm saying his name, because I told y'all not to draft him last offseason. I called him the most overvalued player in rookie drafts. And this is Keyshawn Vaughn. So I understand, guys, last offseason, I hated Keyshawn Vaughn. I made sure that nobody in the flock was drafting Vaughn over T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, anybody in that range. Yet at this point, where we are looking at where the Dynasty community has Vaughn in a lot of these mock drafts that we've been doing, I think that he does represent a nice value for teams that are trying to load up on 2022 production, because Ronald Jones is on the last year of his contract upcoming. We know that Leonard Fournette is not guaranteed in Tampa at the same time. So if you're looking at a player like Keyshawn Vaughn, I understand. Most likely, he's never going to be anything. Most likely, this player was just extremely overvalued coming out of Vanderbilt, and the Dynasty community is just going to have to hold a giant L with everyone who decided to draft him at the end of round 1. But there's an outside chance that this player gets vaulted up into being a pass-catching running back in 2021. And then if he's able to prove that he can be efficient when he touches the ball, the team has the investment into him, where if Ronald Jones decides that he is unwilling to play on a contract that does not necessarily meet his expectations, then the team can go, you know what? We drafted a running back 2 years ago in the 3rd round in Keyshawn Vaughn. He's flashed a little bit when we've given him opportunity. Let's roll with Vaughn in 2022. And it's not likely, but it's a possibility. And at the price that you're going to have to pay for Keyshawn Vaughn, I think it makes a ton of sense. Now, the last targets that I have are going to be very simple. I'm not going to be going through with those younger players that are in bad situations right now. You can do that on your own and try to figure out where guys are going to be rising. But load up on those 2022 second-round rookie picks in Superflex leagues, specifically because the quarterback class in 2022 should be pushing down a decent amount of wide receivers down the draft board into that early 2nd round, where if you're able to load up on 4 or 5 of those picks, you could be walking away with guys like Laviska Shenault, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman a year from now, and you're going to be doing so at such a cheap price if you're just willing to wait a little bit and have those picks actually become on the clock. So yeah, that's my last piece of advice. I hope this video helped y'all out at all. Please go down to the comment section and let me know if I am just rambling on here and nobody cares, and if I need to be going through and actually giving y'all more concrete examples, or if just macro level views on Dynasty Fantasy Football is helping you with your own game and how you should be playing, trading, and constructing your roster. But thank you guys. Really hope y'all had a great day. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'll see y'all with the video tomorrow.